In today's short video, I want to talk about NetXMS configuration, its exporting, importing, and its sharing. Recently, we have created a new repository under NetXMS Exchange. You can find it typing in the search NetXMS/exchange. Here we will share our own configuration files, and we also encourage community to share theirs configuration also. We will accept push requests for this repository, and we have two parts in this repository: official, that will contain configuration that is maintained by us. We will check that it works on latest NetXMS version. We will check that it works at all. And we will maintain if something is required to be changed. And there is another part, it's community part, where we encourage to share your configuration. Today, I wanted to show you three parts. One part is how to export configuration, then how to step-by-step make push requests for configuration upload, and last part, how to import configuration. For now, let's start with exporting configuration. If we open NetXMS, we have two main places where we can export configuration. One of them is configuration export in the configuration part. So when you go to configuration, there is configuration export. Here you can export templates, event processing rules, SNMP traps, and other things. It also will be populated if some other rules or things will be included into the NetXMS. So it's we try our best to add all the things that is required. For example, if you add template, if we, for example, will export this one template, okay, most probably it doesn't have anything. Okay, let me show you generic Unix template. You can see that when I have added this generic Unix template, events have been added also. So for the templates, we're not only exporting the template itself, but we also export the events that goes together with it, the same way as with traps and with event processing rules. If you need some actions in event processing rules, they also should be added here. So if we will check event processing rule, okay, let's cancel this for now. Let me check something that has notification. For example, this one, best create Jira ticket. Okay, you see that we have added this events rule, but it didn't add the actions that we need. So you should, like we try our best to check the events, scripts, and things like that, but it's not always possible. So when you are exporting, please check that you are exporting all the data that is required, that all the events are added, all the actions are added, and if they are required, for sure, there. And all the rules also are added to this configuration. So this is about main export configuration, main export. There is another exceptional case for the dashboards. If we're talking about dashboard, dashboard is exported from the dashboard tree. So you just click export on the dashboard and save the dashboard that you want to export. This is the only one exception, and because it's the same exceptional to import it. So when we will get to the import, I will show you that the most of configuration is imported the same way in configuration part, but dashboards are also imported separately. And I will tell later on why. So in my case, I want to share a script. We won't save this in script library. I have created toolbox. It is a script that contains some useful functions. For example, get table from agent and print it, or get all nodes, node objects under given container. So I plan to populate this script and or to create the new scripts in this bundle that will contain some common useful things, common things that are required, but like to make things faster. Yep. So we talked about export. Let's export this script. Let me add this script, toolbox script, and export. I will save this to desktop. I will call it toolbox. Okay, save. So we have exported the script. Next thing that I actively recommend before creating a push request for us is to think about README document that will contain all the information about the configuration you want to share. In my case, I have toolbox, purpose of this configuration, what files do I have, because I might have more than one file. Maybe I want to separate this toolbox script into one XML and the other things into another XMLs. Then I'm saying which version I've tested this configuration on. So it might be that, for example, in XSL scripts have changed between versions, and if something doesn't work, you know on which version it was tested, and you already might check the difference between versions, for example, in an XSL, and check the scripts that were there. Next thing is usage. I'm saying how to use it, or how to, maybe you need some additional configuration. You also can add it here. I have added some examples of usage of my script, and also I have added change log. So the user can check when this configuration was last updated and what changes have been implemented here. So I advise to use this as a template, but This template might be populated if you have some templates or if you need some additional configuration from the user that is not yet done. For example, if you use some actions that use Telegram notification channel, user should by himself configure this Telegram notification channel. You provide only action. You might mention it in this README file. Okay, so I have created this XML export. I have created this README file. Let's go and create a push request. I will make all the stuff inside my web browser. So I will open my web browser. I will open NetXMS Exchange repository, and then I click dot on my keyboard, and it opens in web editor in which you can already edit all the stuff. So you don't need to pull all the changes to your computer, change for sure. If it's more convenient for you, you can make this way. But I think this is the fastest way to share your configuration. So now you can see that here I have editor, and I have all the content of this repository. Here is our official part, and we can add stuff to this community part. Okay, let's create new folder. I'll call it toolbox. This folder, I need to add two files. I need to add toolbox XML and my README. Yeah. So you can see that this is my XML file, toolbox XML, that contains configuration that can be imported. And wait a minute. Here is my README. About the README and its marks and marking. Here I used header marking and code separation stuff. More about these things you can read on GitHub docs under the writing on GitHub. Start with GitHub and basic formatting syntax. Or you can just Google basic formatting syntax, README GitHub. And here you can see that this is formatting for the headers. And here is quoting the code. So I use those two formats. Okay, so I have added those two files. You can also write something just in here, but for me it was easier to prepare this README ahead of time. Okay, so next thing that I need to do is to go to source control tab, and I want to write the message that it's box the cell configuration. Let's call it this way. And we click commit and push. So this is commit message. Next he says, okay, you can't commit because you don't have access to this, right access to this repository. But you can create your own branch. Let's call this branch toolbox and XSL. Enter. Commit change to your fork NetXMS exchange. Do you want to switch to fork? Yes, I want to switch to my fork. This means that we are changing Git branch from the original one to my one. We can see here now that we have all the files here. Now, if we go to source control, we can here click create pull request. Here we say that in pull request, we want to remote the exchange, toolbox and XSL. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, and this is by default, if you did the same step-by-step things, this should be correctly filled, and we just need to click create. Now here you can see that I have created a pull request, and this pull request will be reviewed by one of our team members and accepted. I also wanted to show you how accepted pull requests look like. So if we will go to GitHub, I already did one pull request. And here you can see that here, when it is accepted, I got notification that pull request successfully merged and closed. And now I can delete my local branch. So once the pull request has been accepted, we can just delete our own branch and it will be visible in this Exchange repository. So yeah, this is all the steps that are required to share by yourself your configuration. If you find it too hard, it's difficult, you for sure can share your configuration by sending it to us to Telegram or by sharing it on forum or by sending it via email, and we also will review it and include into this repository. I also wanted to ask if you for sure can add watching to this repository, and you will get notifications when new templates are added. But maybe you are more interested in our channels, and maybe you can leave your comment if you want to get notification about some new configurations, new dashboards that we share on Facebook or maybe via our ping newsletter. So leave your comments below if you want to get notification through some other channels about new templates in this repository. Okay, so we shared. Now, for now, I will just will wait while a colleague will review my pull request and will accept it and will add this to official our Exchange repository. And now I want to show information about how to import this, because now for now, we only export it. I will show this using our official repository. We have here some standard stuff that is pre-built and included into the release. So when you download NetXMS server, things that is under this folder are already included into your package. And here is some extra that is not included. In our case, here I have printer status dashboard. Let me download this file. Printer status. Okay, I have, it will be the second one. Let's save it. So recently we started also adding some dashboards, some context dashboards that can be used together with our templates. So if we will check README for this printer status dashboard, you can see that things that it shows, and that this printer dashboard use printers XML template package, which can, if your configuration is, if our configuration is auto imported onto your server, you will get it. If it doesn't auto import it, you can get this printer XML from here. This file contains templates for the printers. Okay, so we have downloaded this one. The same. There is big export and there is big import configuration here, where you select the file. I have created some files. I think this one. You select the file and you click import, and it says that what have been imported, what have been changed, if import was successful. One thing worth to mention is those options. So by default, we import only new things. So if you already have event with the same GUID, let me show you event templates. Here you can see GUID of this event template. And we have those GUIDs for the templates that contain DCIs, for scripts. So all the objects have a GUID that is unique in the system. That like it's unique through the systems. And when you export something, you export GUIDs that are in your system. And if you will import a template twice, he will say that, okay, as I show on desktop, this one. When I import it, he says that existing template, this and that, with GUID, this and that skipped because we already have it. So, but this template might contain some changes. We have just ignored it. And we know that we haven't changed anything by hands between the last import and this import. And we need to import and replace the stuff that is in this configuration. So it will import some new DCIs, but like won't replace events, for example, or won't replace actions or UPP rules. So when you know that this configuration contains some additional stuff and you are okay that we will overwrite the stuff that is on your system, as I said, we will match by GUID. If you haven't changed by hands anything, it won't erase any of your changes. It will just replace the previous version of this template. So if I want to replace actions, we will say that we want to replace the actions, or we can just select all the things. We can replace events or replace templates. In my case, I need to replace template if I know that I don't need to skip it, that I know that in this template, I have changes that should be applied. For example, threshold for some DCI I have changed to the script one with the better rules, the better detection. So I say, okay, replace the template. I will import it again. And in this import, we already will see that template is not just ignored. It has been updated. If you have some new templates, it will create new templates and it will be seen here. Yes, but as I said, we have a special case for dashboards. In dashboard, we should click on the dashboard container or the general dashboards object and say import. Let's select the dashboard. It's under download. This one. Why it so differs? In my case, I have context dashboard that doesn't contain any objects or any DCIs that should be matched. So in my case, I have this pop-up empty. I will, a few moments later, will export the dashboard that contains DCIs and objects and will show how it looks like when it's not the context dashboard. In my case, it's just the context dashboard. I click OK. I get dashboard that is empty because it's context. And now on my printers, I can click on the printer. And here you can see that I have context dashboard printer status. And here I can see toner status, printed page info, some information about where this printer is and its name. And it will be shown on all printers where this printer template is applied. And about the dashboard that are not context, let me show you some dashboard that is correctly configured. For example, this one. If we will export this dashboard, and then I will import it. Let me see desktop presentation. Okay. Here you can see that I had on this dashboard exact node and exact DCIs that should be matched. I can map this node to this node, and if it has DCIs that has correct naming, the same naming as mine had, I will match them completely. I will click OK, and now I have dashboard that contains all the information that the same information as it was for the person who exported it. So how it works? We export dashboard, and usually we export dashboard and template. We apply this template on a node. In my case, it's my general node. So here I have some metrics that I used on this dashboard. Those metrics came to me from the templates. If we will check here, here you can see that I have a lot of metrics from templates. So I have templates on which I have metrics that are applied on this node. I configured dashboard that use those metrics from this node. Then I export template and I export dashboard. The person who gets this configuration, he imports template, he applies template on the node, or template is auto-applied to the node that he wants, and then he can map his node to the node that is in this dashboard export. And if he did all correctly, all the DCIs will be mapped and the dashboard will be shown correctly. So that's why for the templates, it doesn't matter the node. We were not connected with exact object that exactly collects this data. So this script configuration, template configuration, and action and many other configurations are exported just as is and are imported all together. And for the dashboard configuration, we export it separately and we import it separately because we should connect exported information in this dashboard to the real information on our system. So this is it from the beginning, how to export till the end, how to import, and like in the middle, I showed you how to share your configurations, and we will try to uh, collect more configurations and share more configuration examples and to have some more pre-configured things that can be imported by you and can be used without additional adjustments if it's possible. So thank you for your time. I hope it was useful. Share and subscribe. Bye.